What do you make of Dana White entering the world of boxing and teaming up with Cheek Turkey?
Yeah, I mean, if they pay like the UFC, though, we might not like it.
Ryan Garcia didn't hold back when asked about Dana White's latest move into the boxing world.
Finally, we're here. An official boxing league owned by His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh and Dana White. And no, I am not celebrating this move because of His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh. I'm celebrating these moves because these are moves that I've been hooping and hollering and yelling about since the beginning of my channel.
Ryan acknowledged White's involvement as a positive step, but expressed concerns over fighter pay, suggesting that if the new boxing league follows the UFC's financial model, it might not be well received by boxers. However, he remained optimistic about White's ability to make a significant impact. Garcia, who has been absent from the sport for the past year due to a suspension for a banned substance, is now preparing for his comeback against Rolando Romero in May. Despite his past interest in joining the UFC, White dismissed the idea, citing Garcia's suspension. Nevertheless, the young fighter remains an influential voice in the boxing world, especially as discussions surrounding White's new boxing venture continue to gain momentum.
My concern is, and I think I always had this concern when one giant controls a sport like the way UFC has over the years, is fighter pay.
Yeah,
that's been the biggest problem for UFC fighters, right? Fighters are going to lose out on this because the pay that fighters get, because, well, go there then. If you don't like us, go over there where you know you're not going to get paid anything, or you're going to get paid crumbs. You're going to have to stay here because this is where all the money is. With Dana White at the helm,
a guy who enters the UFC gets 10 and 10. That model doesn't exist in boxing.
Yeah, and you're right.
White has built a reputation as a businessman with a sharp instinct for profit, and his latest ambition is to reshape boxing. With the backing of TKO Holdings Group and Saudi billionaire Turki Al-Sheikh, White aims to create a new boxing league modeled after the UFC structure. The league is set to launch in September 2025 in Las Vegas and has already attracted the interest of boxing's biggest names, including Canelo Alvarez. Alvarez has expressed openness to participating, hinting that a fight in September is always a possibility. White's vision includes a structured format similar to the UFC, where fighters are signed under long-term contracts and events are controlled by a central promotion rather than multiple competing entities.
Well, Canelo, I'm sure you heard the big news yesterday. Turki Al-Sheikh is creating a new boxing league. He promises that there will only be one world champion in each division. Right now, he's also considered a world champion. As someone who has the WBO, WBC, and WBA titles, how do you feel about that?
I feel good because at the moment I have the 4 belts. It's like I just want, if there is just one belt, it's mine too. So I can adapt myself in any way. So I don't mind.
Despite the excitement surrounding White's entry into boxing, skepticism remains. Many, including Eddie Hearn, argue that the sport isn't broken and doesn't need fixing. Hearn, a major figure in the industry, believes boxing has always been in a good place and that the presence of new investors like White and Al-Sheikh only proves its strength. While he welcomes competition, he is doubtful that White's UFC model will work in boxing, given the vast differences between the two sports. Unlike MMA, boxing has a long history of fighters negotiating their own deals, and its financial structure heavily favors top athletes who secure massive paydays independently. The introduction of a league system could threaten this established dynamic, creating resistance from fighters and promoters alike.
I think that, there's a couple of comments from His Excellency and Dana White that probably rattled a few feathers and cages of the boxing promotional and governing body world. For me, I'm pretty chilled, really. I think it's very exciting. I think that any time that someone like Dana White and TKO want to move into the sport, or the sport that you're operating in, it shows you where the sport's at. And I think I disagree with Dana and Turkey that boxing's broken. I think actually boxing's in a great place. It's always been in a great place, but it has peaks and troughs. Boxing's always been hot, but His Excellency's come in, shaking it up, and made it much hotter. There's another level I think we can go with. Does that come from a league structure? Maybe. Look, TKO have got the ESPN contract from Top Rank, it looks like, which is a big plus for them, and they've got a huge business and promotional voice. So, yeah, I want to see more about the league.
Oscar De La Hoya also weighed in on White's latest project. While he respects Alal Sheikh's efforts in boosting the sport, he expressed disappointment over being sidelined. Having spent decades in boxing as both a fighter and promoter, De La Hoya sees himself as an essential part of the sport's future. He remains committed to his work with Golden Boy Promotion, continuing to focus on developing new champions. He acknowledged Alal Sheikh's influence, but made it clear that he intends to maintain control over his own fighters and business. De La Hoya's stance highlights a broader concern among traditional boxing promoters who fear that White's involvement could disrupt the sport's balance of power. White's reputation in MMA is built on strict control over his athletes, often leading to disputes over fighter pay. In contrast, boxing has long been a sport where top fighters wield considerable leverage in negotiations. If White's boxing league follows the UFC's model, it could lead to tensions between fighters seeking higher purses and a promotion aiming to maintain tighter control over financial agreements.
No, look, I mean, I did hear that he passed over the reins of boxing to Dana White. Well, that comment to me, I felt a little offended because I've been in boxing all my life and I've been promoting for 20 some odd years. So what I'm gonna do is stay in my lane and do what I do for Golden Boy and with the Zone and give the fight fans the best fights that can possibly be made, just the way we've been doing for years.
The financial aspect of this new venture remains a major talking point. Last year, White and TKO were ordered to pay $375 million as part of the settlement in the Kung Lei vs. Zuffa LLC antitrust lawsuit. This legal battle, centered around accusations of unfair fighter pay in the UFC, has fueled concerns about whether White's boxing league will provide fair compensation. Many fighters, including Garcia, have hinted that they will only consider joining if the pay structure is favorable. Another element of this evolving situation is the potential crossover between UFC fighters and White's boxing promotion. Former UFC light heavyweight champion Alex Pereira has already expressed interest in boxing under White's new league, especially after the massive success of high-profile fights in Saudi Arabia. The possibility of UFC stars transitioning to boxing events under White's leadership is intriguing, though logistical hurdles remain. Contractual obligations and the differences in fighting styles between MMA and boxing make such transitions complex.
Today it was announced Dana White is getting into the boxing business. Does a fight with Alexander Usyk become more real?
Não, com certeza. Quando eu vi o anúncio ali, eu já pulei de alegria. Quem sabe aí em setembro, Saudi Arábia.
Absolutely, man. I was hyped. I was happy when I heard the news. Who knows? September, Saudi Arabia.
Chama.
Coming back to Ryan Garcia, him and Devin Haney exchanged a heated verbal exchange at the Fatal Fury press conference recently. Garcia will be fighting Rolly Romero on that night, while Haney is set to go up against Jose Ramirez in the co-main event. At the recent press conference, Garcia took the opportunity to throw some sharp words in Haney's direction, suggesting that the fight between them isn't over, even if it was technically nullified. Garcia's suspension and the ruling that his victory over Haney was overturned to a no contest after his positive test for Osterine had made headlines in 2024, but it wasn't something he was letting slide.
Focus on just whooping Devin Haney's ass again. That's all I'm really worried about. Just to not even redeem myself, just submit that bull.
Garcia seemed to want to turn the page on his suspension and prove that his success against Haney wasn't due to performance-enhancing drugs. He stated that his focus was squarely on getting back into the ring with Haney, not to redeem himself, but to cement his victory over him. In fact, he went as far as to suggest that Haney might have been involved in some sort of setup to tarnish his win. Garcia accused Haney of orchestrating the whole scenario, citing a strange incident where Haney's brother seemed to know about Garcia's positive test before anyone else did. He insinuated that Haney and his camp had a hand in the alleged corruption surrounding the entire situation.
Just to not even redeem myself, but submit that bullshit fucking Austrian bullshit. You know what you probably did set up. We know you did that.
You know what happened?
Where's your little brother? Is your brother in the house? Because your brother knew before everybody else, and you don't answer that question.
My little brother right there.
Okay, so how do you know before everybody else? Corruption at its finest. Corruption at its finest.
For his part, Haney didn't take long to respond. With a calm but confident demeanor, Haney shot back at Garcia, accusing him of taking his punishment because he knew he was guilty of doping. Haney's remark was clear. Garcia had cheated and was paying the price for it. Despite Haney's retort, Garcia was relentless. He fired back by pointing to his own performance in their previous fight, reminding everyone that he had knocked Haney down 3 times, which couldn't possibly have been the result of any drugs.
But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna look past Rolly.
Because you knew you was guilty.
Hey, the Austrian don't help you block a left hook, bro. You got hit like 1,000 times.
Okay, so
you got dribbled off the canvas. Okay, nothing was taken. You know damn well. Damn well.
Do not do drugs, kids.
Do not do drugs. Do not do. Okay, hey, he had that in his back pocket the whole time.
Garcia approaches his fight with Raleigh with quiet determination. While Haney remains his main target, he refuses to overlook Raleigh. He makes it clear that, despite his ongoing feud with Haney, his immediate focus is handling business against Raleigh first. Still, his remarks about Haney reveal where his heart truly lies. He firmly believes that a rematch is inevitable and is eager to prove once again that he is the superior fighter. Though he originally wanted to face Isaac Pitbull Cruz, negotiations fell through, leaving him with Raleigh instead. Regardless, Garcia is determined to make a statement and show that he is ready for Haney or any other challenger in his path.
I thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ before anything. As far as Rolly says, my next opponent, he wasn't my first choice for sure.
He was or was not?
No, he wasn't. It was Pitbull Cruz, but things played out a different way. But I'm really focused on just whooping Devin Haney's ass again. That's all I'm really worried about.
Known for his relentless trash talk, Raleigh refused to let Garcia's comments slide. In the lead up to their fight, he dismissed Garcia's skills, mocking him as more of a model than a serious boxer. He criticizes Garcia's lack of evolution as a fighter, pointing to their past sparring sessions as proof that Garcia hasn't improved. Confident in his abilities, Raleigh promises to knock Garcia out, adding even more tension to an already heated rivalry.
4 years at the time.
You didn't have a really deep amateur background.
I started
right?
boxing at 17.
Okay. And Ryan was a national, like a multinational
Yeah,
champ?
started boxing like 5 or something. Damn, it took him that long to evolve somewhat. I'm very impressed. He still hasn't been champion though.
Fair enough.
And the only times that he's ever had the opportunity to be champion was with Gervonta, but instead of trying to sacrifice the extra pound and trying to make 135, he decided not to. And then with Devin, who we clearly know he didn't even try to. He doesn't want to be champion. He wants to be a model.
Despite Raleigh's antics, Garcia remained unfazed. He exuded confidence and assured everyone that he is taking the fight seriously. He even laid out his plan, predicting that he will end the fight with a left hook knockout.
How easy is it going to be? How long will Rolly last with you in the ring?
Facts. There you go. He answered it for me. About 2 seconds. Nah, I mean, he's going to come to fight. I'm not taking him lightly or anything like that. I'm still going to train my best, but everybody really wants to see the rematch, and that's where my heart's at. So I just gotta, prepare well, and I know I'm the better fighter. I'm gonna knock him out, so that's it.
Coming to the predictions of this fight, Eddie Hearn shared his thoughts, acknowledging Raleigh's charismatic presence in boxing. While he appreciates Raleigh's personality and entertainment value, Hearn remains confident that Ryan Garcia will win with ease.
That younger generation, Ryan Garcia, huge name. Devin Haney, huge name. Teofimo Lopez, huge name. And do you know what? What I like about it as well, they're all in real fights. I love Rolly, I think he's a great character, but I think Ryan will deal with him well.
George Kambosos also weighed in, describing the fight as an exciting one, but expressing doubts about Raleigh's skills. He dismissed Raleigh as a serious threat, predicting that Garcia would knock him out without much trouble. Although he recognized that Raleigh appeared to be in strong physical shape during recent training sessions, Kambosos believes Garcia's power will be too much for him to handle. Still, he acknowledged that this fight could reveal whether Raleigh has made any real improvements to his game. If he has, those adjustments might give him a slight edge. Despite this possibility, Kambosos ultimately favors Garcia as the likely winner.
As much as I've had my shit back and forth with Ryan, it'll be an interesting fight. Not style-wise, I think Ryan will probably knock him out. I think the lead-up is going to be fun. Rolly's, he loves to talk. He's not very smart. His IQ's not very smart, so I think it's going to be a funny lead-up. And we'll see in the fight. But again, they got history sparring. That always brings confidence. You see the sparring, Rolly look good in the sparring sessions that they put out there. You don't know, that there, we might have an edge on him somewhere, so we'll see.
Vic Cutman took a different approach in his analysis, focusing on the changes in Raleigh's fighting style since he started working with Coach Bullet. He noted that Raleigh, once a raw power puncher, has adopted a more disciplined and technical approach. However, Cutman believes this shift has made Raleigh less confident in his knockout ability, ultimately making him a less dangerous fighter than before. While he respects Raleigh as a person, he sees these changes as a major factor in why Garcia is expected to win.
So, Rolly, when he was with Bullet, had a certain fighting style. They tried to change that fighting style and turn him into a boxer. He's not a boxer. They took away a power puncher's power and his belief in himself. And that's why I believe that Ryan Garcia all day long. And I like Rolly.
Teofimo Lopez also backed Garcia, emphasizing his motivation as a key factor. He pointed out that Garcia appears more focused and determined than ever heading into this fight. While Lopez suggested that Garcia might tweak aspects of his training camp, he still expects an explosive showdown. However, he cautioned that Raleigh's punching power should not be overlooked. In his view, if Garcia isn't careful, one well-placed shot from Raleigh could completely change the outcome of the fight.
I think right now they're probably going to announce a lot of fights to be finalized. That's my opinion on that. However, I think that it's a great matchup. I think it's a good storyline for Rolly as well, and I think they're gonna fight at 47.
Yeah. Rolly's a big dude. Obviously, he has that power. Ryan has that right hook.
Yep.
So who do you got?
I got Ryan. I got Ryan Garcia.
Why?
Yeah. I just think that from that fight and since then, he hasn't been fighting for that long of a period, and then being stopped the way he was. I think he might be changing trainers, or he might still be with Salas, but even then, but I think it's gonna be a great matchup. I think Ryan needs to be careful with Rolly's punching power, because Rolly still got power, man, and definitely could do something to Ryan with those shots.
Coach Bullet is fully confident in his fighter's ability. He described Raleigh as being in peak physical condition and operating in what he calls dog mode, a mindset centered on relentless aggression. Bullet believes that if Raleigh sticks to his strengths, pressuring Garcia and maintaining his high energy approach, he can overwhelm his opponent and possibly secure a stoppage victory.
Who you got?
You know I got Rolly. Rolly in shape. Rolly in dog mode again. Fuck him up. We're already in his head for years back, so Rolly knows how to beat him. And like I say, if he goes in shape and bring back the Johnny Taco, the motherfucking centering boxing Rolly, that dog Rolly can stop anybody.
Wait, you say we, so no hard feelings that you're rooting for the man then?
I've always rooted for him. I'm never not rooted for him.
Robert Garcia also shared his perspective, giving Garcia the edge. He highlighted Garcia's speed and powerful left hook as the deciding factors in the fight. While he acknowledged Raleigh's toughness and ability to go the distance, he ultimately believes Garcia's left hook will land clean and do serious damage, likely leading to a decisive victory.
I think Ryan. Why? Yeah, he's just fast and has a tremendous left hook, so I think it's a competitive fight, and I think Rolly is game enough to put up a good fight and go to the end. But I think eventually Ryan lands that left hook and probably hurts him.
Showbiz The Adult gathered fan opinions through a poll, and the results overwhelmingly favored Garcia, with 95% predicting he would knock Raleigh out. While recognizing Garcia as the clear favorite, he voiced concerns that the fight lacks suspense. He argued that the most compelling matchups are the ones where fans are divided on the outcome, as those fights tend to be the most dramatic and unpredictable. Despite Garcia's expected dominance, he acknowledged that boxing is known for its surprises, and Raleigh could still defy expectation.
February 22nd card is so good, I don't know who wins any fight. I'm guessing Better BF, I'm guessing Shakur, but really that's a good card when you have no idea who's gonna win. I put up a poll, is Ryan gonna KO Rolly or is Rolly gonna KO Ryan? It was like 95% Ryan gonna KO Rolly. That means it's not a good fight. That's not good. That's not good. When 95% says Ryan gonna knock out something, then that's not good. You want fights where it's like, I don't know. And I put up the poll, Virgil Ortiz beats Madrimov beats Ortiz, it's like 50-50. Now we're talking. it's a good fight.
Abel Sanchez also weighed in, emphasizing Garcia's physical advantages. He pointed to Garcia's size, speed, and punching power as key factors that would likely overwhelm Raleigh. According to Sanchez, Garcia's superior physical attributes and technical skills should lead to an early round victory. He also noted that Raleigh has not shown significant growth in his fighting style, which could put him at a disadvantage against a more refined and powerful opponent like Garcia.
I think on paper, Ryan is the more complete fighter, right, Abel?
Ryan is the bigger, stronger, faster, bigger puncher. Ryan looks huge compared to Rolly. And I think that size and the power is going to be the difference. I think that Rolly is not really developed from, say, four or five fights ago. He's still the same guy. I don't know who he's working with now.
Beyond Garcia's fight, the entire May 2nd event is packed with tension, especially with the presence of fighters like Haney and Teofimo Lopez. Lopez is set to face Arnold Barboza as he continues to make his mark in the 140-pound division. His recent antics at the press conference generated mixed reactions. Even Garcia questions his behavior. Lopez seemed intent on provoking Barboza, and when the two faced off, he escalated the tension by slapping Barboza across the face.
The takeover, Lopez, and the undefeated interim champ, Arnold Barboza Jr. It's all for the WBO Super Lightweight World Championship.
So what are your thoughts about this? Do let us know in the comment section below. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and check out some of our other videos on the screen right now.